Shalom. Welcome to today's deep dive. Peace to you all. When you hear the word peace, you probably picture like a calm lake or a quiet retreat. You definitely do not picture a weapon.
Right, yeah, it's usually seen as, completely passive.
Exactly. But in this deep dive, designed specifically for those of you on a journey seeking deeper spiritual truths, we are, well, flip that idea completely on its head.
We really are. We're taking a close look at the intersection of psychology, neuroscience, and theology. And the research reveals something incredible. True joy, peace, and surrender. They aren't passive traits at all. They actually form the ultimate armor against fear and oppression.
Okay, let's unpack this, because if I'm facing something terrifying, my instinct isn't to just, sit quietly. How does peace act as a proactive weapon?
Well, it starts with your biology. When a threat appears, your amygdala, which is basically your brain's alarm system, fires instantly.
Oh, the whole fight or flight thing.
Exactly. It pumps out adrenaline long before your rational prefrontal cortex can even process what's happening. So you get that immediate fight, flight, or freeze response.
Right, which I imagine oppressors or abusers usually exploit, right? I read they rely on what psychologists call a power mirror, like they need to see your fear and panic reflected back at them to feel in control.
Yes, precisely. And that is where the concept of active surrender comes in. By yielding ultimate control to God, you engage a psychological mechanism called secondary control.
Wait, let me stop you right there. Usually when someone takes away our control, we panic. How does active surrender not just feel like, I don't know, giving up and letting the oppressor win?
That is the paradox, right? It's because of how it literally changes your brain chemistry. Normally, losing control spikes your cortisol because your brain thinks you are in mortal danger.
Great, your body is screaming at you to do something.
Yeah. But with secondary control, you are actively offloading that cognitive burden. You're acknowledging you cannot control the abuser, but you trust the one who holds the ultimate outcome. Your brain literally stops trying to solve an unsolvable threat.
Oh, wow, so it signals your adrenal glands to stand down.
Exactly. It shuts off that alarm.
So maintaining inner peace isn't just hiding behind a shield, it's literally unplugging the oppressor's power cord.
Psychologically, yes,
Oh.
absolutely. It shatters that power mirror you mentioned. And honestly, it often triggers a narcissistic rage in the abuser because they suddenly realize they cannot control your soul.
Wow. Okay. So if I am cutting off their power supply by maintaining my peace, what are they actually feeling when they try to oppress someone? I mean, is it a biological high, like joy?
It's a completely different biological state, actually. True joy floods your system with a healing chemical cocktail, specifically things like dopamine and endorphins.
Right. The feel-good stuff.
Yeah. But it also activates your mirror neurons.
Mhm.
Those are responsible for empathy and social connection. So true joy literally wires you to expand and connect with others.
And the oppressor's feeling.
That's malicious pleasure. And biologically, that is deeply isolating.
That reminds me of St. Augustine's story about the stolen pears. He wrote that he stole fruit not because he was hungry, but simply for the thrill of doing something wrong.
Yes, that is a perfect example.
Mm.
Augustine realized that this kind of malicious satisfaction is just a distorted, addictive mimicry of God's power.
Like a counterfeit?
Exactly. It gives a brief dopamine hit, sure, but it ultimately creates a profound spiritual vacuum.
It's wild to think about that. It's almost like evil is just a cheap, addictive knockoff of real power. But if malicious pleasure leaves you spiritually isolated and empty, how do we fill that void?
Well, that exact void is what C.S. Lewis was talking about when he pointed to a specific German word. It's pronounced Sehnsucht. It translates roughly to a haunting, sacred longing.
A sacred longing. I really like that.
Right. Lewis argued that this deep ache we feel, which, often gets triggered by beauty or nature, it proves we are actually made for another world.
Oh, like when you stand at the edge of the ocean and just feel complete awe.
Exactly. Scientifically, experiencing awe physically shrinks our ego. It
Yeah.
pulls us out of our self-centered anxieties.
Mm.
And when we practice that humility daily in submitting to a grander design, we build what's called an inner Eden.
An inner Eden. That sounds beautiful.
It is. It's an internal sanctuary of peace that no external chaos can touch.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? It means that the fruit of the Spirit, this profound peace and joy, it isn't some forced performance.
No, definitely not. You don't have to grit your teeth and just fake a smile.
Right. It's a supernatural energy that naturally overflows when we step off the throne of our own hearts.
Yeah, and yielding that control to God in small daily frustrations, that builds your spiritual muscle memory. You are actively training your brain and your soul,
So when the ultimate trials come, you face them with an unconquerable spirit.
Precisely. You are ready for anything.
Which leaves us with something to ponder today. If your deepest unmet desires are actually clues pointing to your eternal design, what is your current anxiety trying to teach you about the divine peace you are uniquely built to experience? May the Lord bless you.